Welcome to All Home Care Matters, the show where we discuss all things home care, with discussions on important age-related matters and topics. Brought to you by Enriched Life Home Care Services, the #1 rated home care provider in Michigan by Top Rated Local.
Hello, and welcome back to All Home Care Matters. If this is your first time visiting us here at the show, we want to say thank you for taking time out to be with us today. We appreciate how valuable everyone's time is, and that's why we try and make each episode here at All Home Care Matters something that will hopefully matter to you. Today, we're honored to welcome a very special guest, Marie Vaudry, the founder of Gleam in Your Eye, a dementia activities product. Welcome, Marie.
Hi, thank you.
Yes, we're glad to have you. So Marie, why don't we start by telling our listeners and viewers a little bit about where you grew up at and about some of your personal background?
I grew up in Canada, in Montreal, the French part of Canada, and we moved in US 7 years ago. We live in San Diego now, and my mom has Alzheimer at 59 years old, an early onset Alzheimer. And I was looking for activities for her. It was as many other family to learn this diagnose and to try to deal with this disease. And also for the person with Alzheimer, it's hard. Then it's at this moment I started to look for some stuff for my mom.
Did growing up, when did you start noticing? Because 59 is young, and early onset can start very early in people's 40s. Even I've heard of late 30s. When did you start noticing that maybe something was wrong with mom?
I was living in France, and she visited me she was maybe 56. She was just retired, and she came to visit me in France, and we were doing a tour, visiting many cities. And I noticed that she started to have some habits to remove all her stuff from her suitcase and put it like if she was at home. And it was very important for her to find her stuff in a way, and and when we were visiting, she was very lost. She was missing her home a lot, and her environment was very confusing for her to not be at home. And I was like, oh, it's not my mom anymore. There is something wrong. There is something happening. And I started to talk about it with my family, but everybody was like, oh, it's normal aging, and it's normal. Don't worry about that. Then I let it go a little bit, but after it started to be more and more often, she was missing information. I was not able to have a normal conversation on
Sure.
phone with her. And I was like, she was not concentrated. There was something wrong.
Yeah. Was it you that initially took her to the doctors, or what was that process like?
Yes, I was in France, then it was complicated. I was
Yeah.
doing a long distance caregiving. Then I convinced my dad to go with her. And they went and they did the test, and she failed at the test at her primary doctor. And after I came back from France, I came back to live in Montreal, and I was more involved at this process. But yes, I convinced my dad to go. I convinced my mom because she didn't want to do the test as well. It's very hard at the beginning because they know what is happening. They
Right.
understand there is something wrong. It's very difficult.
Looking back, do you think your dad was more in denial, or like, because I just find it interesting that she comes to visit you in France, and it sounds like you were initially picking up on it, that it wasn't just typical forgetfulness as we age, and 56 is fairly young to have aging memory loss, just natural aging memory loss. What is your thoughts on your dad? Like, he's living with your mom, they see each other daily. Why do you think he wasn't able to pick up on that?
I think it's so normal
Okay.
to deny this,
Yeah.
even to all my family, my aunt, my uncles, um, because you don't want that for your sister, you don't
Right.
want that for your wife. You I think it's so normal, and you think it's the normal aging. You think she's maybe stressed or tired those days, and oh, it will be better soon. You just don't want. We know how this disease is difficult, and I think it's normal
Right.
to be in this phase. Maybe because me, I was far away. I was able to have a distance about this situation, and I was able to see it. Uh, it was maybe easier for me at this moment, but I think it's a normal process. It's there is different phase
Right.
in um, in the process of to learn about a new disease, and the denied, it's for sure a first phase for
Mhm.
the family.
Yeah. How did once you got that diagnosis, what walk us through that process of how you guys coped with that and what you had to go through?
It was very difficult to learn about this disease. As other family, we started to search for information. We contacted the Alzheimer Association in Montreal. They came to visit us in our house to talk about the disease, what is happening. I was able to put my dad, my brother, me together and talk about it, because nobody wanted to really talk about it. Then we needed someone to come from outside to come to talk about this disease. It was really helpful to know all the different steps we need to do, what will happen, uh, what are the different stage of the disease. It's important to know all that. Like that, you can prepare yourself, you can help your loved one who struggle with this disease. And this, it was the first step we did. And also to learn who can help us. Can we have my dad can have a respite? Can we have someone who comes, a licensed caregiver can come at our house to help us? It was nice to have a full information of what we can. Yeah.
Well, and I can imagine too, at that age, I'm assuming your father was still working.
No, he was
He
retired as
was retired.
well.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's
my parent
fortunate.
was the two in a government
Okay,
employee. Then they had early
early,
retirement.
early retire. Good, because that makes a big difference too. Because it so often families think of Alzheimer's as something you only get when you're old. And here, your parents are, not even 60 years old yet, probably looking forward to their retirement and traveling and, and then they get this devastating news. And I'm sure there was some even denial after the news. Like, how could this happen to us? How could this happen to me, to my wife, to my mom? How did your mom respond to it once, she was given that diagnosis?
She was very frustrated, and even
Right.
uh, not believing it when we had to. She lost her driver license. I think it's a big step for someone with Alzheimer. It's like you remove their freedom.
Right.
Um, this I saw my mom very frustrated, and my mom was always a woman very happy, and at this moment I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we need to do something to put her more joy in her day to day, because yeah, we remove her freedom to be free to go everywhere she wants. And
And now
it
she's
was,
entirely dependent.
yes, I really remember this moment. It was very tough.
So here you and your parents and your family have this horrific diagnosis that nobody probably was expecting. And if you're like most families at the time, unless you're in the healthcare field, you probably know very little about Alzheimer's. And what kind of resources did you find after that diagnosis and after you met with the Alzheimer's Association, which does tremendous work globally for families, but the help only goes so far because at the end of the day, these families are left to care for their loved one and to care for themselves. And, there was limited resources, I'm assuming, at the time for you to, to help your mom and to help your dad.
We were very lucky in a way because when everything started for my mom, I started to be interested by this disease more,
Hmm.
as many other caregiver. Then I was contacted some health professional
Okay.
to know more about how to distract my mom, how to have fun with her during the day, which activity can I use to give her confidence and keep this feeling for her that, oh, I'm still able to do that. Oh, thank you. Yes, okay. Even to fail all day. Then because I was talking to a lot of health professionals, they were giving me tips, advice, and also proper resources to help us at home. Then I met a lot of caregiver licensed caregiver that we can hire, and we found the perfect match for our
Good.
family. Then she was the lady was coming, I think 3 times a week, half a day, to help my father and
Hmm.
to entertain my mom. We were lucky because I had access to this variety of services,
Right.
but it's difficult for families to find that, to find the good match for our family, because sometimes the employee, they move, they change for another job, then you have to start again with someone
Right.
new. It's so difficult to find. It's like a babysitter for your kids. It's
Yeah.
super difficult, and it's the same thing. And there is a big turnaround in this field. Then it's tough for family.
So when we introduced you, Marie, we shared that you're the founder and owner of Gleam in Your Eye. Gleam in Your Eye is activities for families, caregivers, for loved ones with dementia to help keep them stimulated and engaged. What was that moment for you where you said, we need something better? We need to do something. And, a lot of people always want something better, but very few actually go out and do something about it. Where you did do something about it and you created Gleam in Your Eye. Share with our viewers and listeners what that moment was where you said, you know what, we need something better and I'm going to do something about it.
What happened, it's like I said, my mom started to have anxiety, was frustrated, and I said, okay, my mom was used to do a crossword every day, was used to read a book every week, a new book every week, and she was not able to do that anymore. I was like, and she never liked to watch TV.
Mhm.
And I was, what we will do all day? She will walk in the house and just turn around and come back, and all day long then, or staying in the chair and just look at the wall. I was like, no, we cannot do that. Then I went to different toys store for kids, library, to see if there was puzzles adapted for her, because 100 pieces, it was too difficult for her.
Right.
But the 12 pieces I was looking, it was for child, and I was like, no, and there was too much images. It was too difficult, and I was, okay, there is nothing. What I will do with my mom all day long? And I started to read, and I found an article, and some doctors were saying, more you are stimulated at home, more you are active. Even you have the disease, more it slow the progression of the disease, and it help you to be happy and
Right.
remove this anxiety a little bit. It can help. And I was like, okay, I have all this proof, but I still have nothing to give her. And I said, okay, let's contact some health professional, some researcher who are doing stuff about it. And the health professional I talk with, they were telling me, Marie, we have nothing like speech therapists. When they were talking with their the family were asking, oh, can you give me something to do at home after the the class? And they said, okay, we can give you copy of some stuff, but nothing really finished. And then they said, Marie, we need something. Then I said, okay, I will create it. And the first things I created, it was with my publishing house. I launched a publishing house who called, and the book's called Spark Your Mind, and it's activity books for someone with Alzheimer. They and all the games were validated by neuropsychologists,
Mhm.
speech therapists, geriatrician, neurologists, and they were helping me to put all those games together and adapted. And it was my first project. I did 2 books. They are available also online. And I launched 7 months ago Gleam in Your Eye because the specialists were telling me, oh, we need more sensory experience. We need, then I decided to launch a product that they can touch, smell, and have fun. And with the book, I was limited to the paper.
Sure.
Then
I,
everything started.
what was your mom's response to the Spark book?
It was good, but sadly, I arrived too late when I finished the book. It was disappointed for me, but she was pretty fast in the beginning of the late stage. Then
Okay.
the books are for moderate stage. Then we were able to do it a little bit with her, but not so much. Then it's the sad thing about all my product. I made them for my mom at the beginning, but it was too late. Then I'm happy to help other family now.
Well, and I think too, Marie, in a way, you really are still doing this for your mother, right? Because there's another Marie out there who is just getting that diagnosis for their mother, and you've kind of cleared the path for them where they're not going to have to go and reinvent the wheel. It's already been invented for them by you with your activity books and by the Gleam in Your Eye product. So hopefully, that does give you a little satisfaction knowing you're making someone else's caregiving journey and dementia journey a little bit easier for them. It won't be easy, but it's going to be easier. So what is the concept behind Gleam in Your Eye? So if one of our viewers or listeners is going through this right now with their loved one, how would you explain Gleam in Your Eye?
It's a subscription box of games. Then there is 5 variety of games inside. We want to make sure that you find one game you love for sure in the box, but also to stimulate the brain differently and make sure they are still active. Then we have a word game, we have a logic game, we have a sensory game, we have a art game, and we have I always miss the last one. What I said, the word a physical game
Physical.
also, yeah, to be engaged. Then they can then every month they can receive a box. They don't have we I try to also consider how much the caregiver is busy at home. Then sometimes we don't have time to look for activities. Then I was thinking, okay, the subscription box, it's just easy. You subscribe and you receive the proper material at home to engage your loved one. Then every month you don't have to search online to find 5 different games. You receive it at home with all the material, instruction, very easy. It's I also write the instruction as a person with Alzheimer can be able to read it. Then it's very simple. The health professional revise the version I do, the games I do, and yeah, every month you receive five games, activities, sensory activities, and with different theme. Every month we try to change, like about nature, about gardening, about the carnivals, about to do reminiscence activity also, and engage with your loved one. We give tips, we give topic discussion. It's tough to connect with someone with Alzheimer. At one point you don't know anymore what to say, or they always ask you the same
Sure.
question. then we give you idea of what you can ask as question and to talk
So
about
it
different
has so it has caregiving tips in there as well. So it's not just activities. Now, if someone has a loved one and maybe it's, some situations may be more challenging than others. Some people might have, a fixation on a particular interest like trains or, dogs, or can they, when they subscribe, are they able to put any, do you have like a questionnaire to help you create the activities in the box for them?
not now, but it's our vision, it's
Yeah.
our dream to do that because we know everybody has different interests and we understand that, but logistically for now it's too difficult.
Hmm.
But we make sure that the theme we choose, it's a general thing that everybody should love, nature, gardening. It's ge- it's generate everybody have that, or vacation in USA. It's then for now we make sure we will have soon some individual box to buy. Then if you know your loved one really like the food, and then we have a box about food.
Okay.
Then you can buy this one in particular. But right now we want to
Sure.
offer really like a questionnaire, a survey that you fill, and you can pick the games. Also, there is not only the theme, there is also the interest of the kind of games. I know my mom, she loves games, word games.
Mhm.
Then it will be nice the person can pick this one in particular, or we put more in a box. There is a lot of
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah.
future idea in my mind for sure.
Why do you think there's so few resources available for families with loved ones with dementia?
There are starting to have more and more. I'm
Hmm.
happy to see it on the market. There is a company in United Kingdom. They do a lot of product. There is not so many here. There is like the cats moving and the dog, Angel. I don't remember the name of the company. Um, I don't know why there is. Maybe it's just because it's new that the doctors are telling us it's important to stay active even you
Right.
have Alzheimer. There is more research about it now. Is it because of that? Before we were more concerned to know about the disease and less to to take care of the patient in a different way.
Right.
Also, we as a caregiver, it's very important all the security in the house and make sure they are secure, they have good meal, they have the clothes, the proper clothes. Then after we will think about distraction, but it's shown now that you should consider activities as important as food, or it's essential. The researcher tried to show that now it's essential for someone with Alzheimer.
Right. Exactly. And I know you mentioned this is more for the moderate stages, not the late stages. What if somebody's in the earlier stages? Do you have different levels or is it just for moderate stages?
Why we decided to for moderate stage? Because early stage you can still find stuff on the market that you can use, normal games that they will still be able to do. It's really at moderate stage that they will start to have difficulty with the language, with the to associate some word and images together. It's really at the moderate stage. Oh, it started. It's why we arrive with curated product and adapted product
Hmm.
at this phase. But if you buy our box and it's early, you are at early stage, maybe it will be too easy, a
Okay.
little bit too easy for you, but you can adapt it. There is always a way to adapt the games because it can be always fun.
For viewers and listeners that are wanting to know more about the subscription, is the subscription month to month, or do you have to sign up for a certain amount of time, or is it as you want a box, you can get a box?
You can in beginning of June they will be able to buy a box, a unit box, like I said, but and they can buy a 3 months
Okay.
or a 6 month subscription. It
Okay.
will be what will be available very very soon. But
Wonderful.
now they can still buy the 3 months and 6 months.
Have you gotten any feedback that you want to share from a family that's really, meant a lot to you?
Yes, I remember one woman when we were in the at the beginning who sometimes you don't know anymore what your loved one is able to do.
Yeah.
And she talked with us and she said, "Oh, I didn't know anymore he was able to read because he was not reading anymore." And because they were doing the activities together, she said, "Oh, he was reading and he was writing also." And she didn't know he was still able to write. This is for me, it's a best comment ever because you need, yeah, if you learn, the goal is to maintain their abilities.
Right.
They will not gain new abilities as kids that they learn, but you can maintain them and to know that they are still able to read, they are still able to write. Yes, we know that, and we can continue to try to maintain that as far as possible, as long as possible. Sorry for my English, but uh, this it's for me it's a success. It's
Yeah.
a success, and they were happy with the games, and they it brings back memories of. It's perfect.
Well, and that's exactly why you started Gleam in Your Eye, right? Is for that exact response. That's wonderful. Why do you why do you think it's important for caregivers and families to educate themselves about Alzheimer's? You get the diagnosis, but you don't really maybe necessarily understand the disease or the progress of the disease. Why do you think it's important for them to educate themselves?
It's a very good question. It's very, very, very important because you will know what will happen and know how to act with them. This it change everything. If you know your loved one has Alzheimer and is at moderate stage, there is some typical some facts about how they communicate, why they are asking you always the same question, how you can react to not offend them and to just bring more anxiety in the house. Then if you know that, you know you will not ask them a question about, "Oh, do you remember this? We just did that today." You know
Right.
their short-term memory, there is there is no anymore, but you know their long-term memory, you can use it. Then if you know the stages your loved one will progress this way, you can really change your behavior and the way you communicate with them, and it can save you for anxiety, for a lot of stuff. It's very very important.
Well, and I think that leads to this question. A lot of people have misconceptions about dementia. What do you think are some of the barriers to them having a better understanding about it?
I think it's the word
Hmm.
dementia. It's scary. In Canada, for example, we don't use this word anymore because it's too much negative.
A stigma. Yeah.
It's a stigma. Then we change it by, I don't know if it's better, but neurocognitive trouble. It's now the new word that we use in Canada. Then people yeah, it's a stigma, like you said. It's negative. It's full of, we don't know everything about it yet. It's the brain. It's a big thing. The researchers are still looking to find a cure. We start to know more how the person feel and when they have Alzheimer, but it's scary. We don't
Right.
know everything.
And I think too and I think there's a lot of good with this, but Alzheimer's is so prevalent. You have the Alzheimer's Association and Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and that's wonderful and it's important and it's needed. But then, I was speaking to a family recently and they said, well, my dad has Alzheimer's, he doesn't have dementia. And I explained to them, I said, that's a misconception. When you have Alzheimer's, you have dementia. But if you have dementia, you don't necessarily have Alzheimer's. And people, that's a big, misconception that people have. They don't understand that dementia is the umbrella for all the forms of dementia, where Alzheimer's is the most common and the most prevalent. So, if somebody has frontal temporal dementia, their experience and their journey and that family's caregiving journey it's going to be some similarities, but there's going to be a lot of differences if their loved one has Alzheimer's as dementia. And I think that's one of the biggest hurdles that I think is out there for a lot of families when they go to a primary care doctor, and the primary care doctor will just say, I'm sorry, your loved one has dementia. Well, I always recommend, when possible, and it's not always possible either, find out what form of dementia. Most common is Alzheimer's, but the way your loved one, will progress through this disease of dementia will greatly depend on what form of dementia that they have. And and that's like a whole new concept for a lot of families, because they just think you either have dementia or you have Alzheimer's. They aren't aware, and it's not their fault. And I think that goes back to some of the barriers. We need to do a better job of raising awareness and educating families, maybe like your experience with your mom when your family first was given a diagnosis. They sometimes only get that diagnosis and they don't get anything after that. And we encounter families all the time with our, professional jobs, where a family gets a diagnosis of dementia, or maybe they get a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, but then that's all they get. They're not given the tips or, recommendations. Make sure you have activities like Gleam in your eye, or, keep them stimulated. Don't just let them sit and stare at a television all day. Try to keep them engaged and keep that brain stimulated. And like you said, it's not going to cure anything. They're most likely not learning a new activity or something, but they're going to keep exercising what they do have and keep it active as much as possible. And I think that's something we need to do as a healthcare society and as a society in general, is to better engage families and better equip them to be prepared for that journey. Because a lot of families go home and they're overwhelmed. Fortunately, your father was retired, but imagine if he was still having to work, 9 to 5 every day, and now you have your mother with this early onset, and she's home by herself because you're in France, and so I think there needs to be better awareness as a whole, and better equipping these families for what's to come and what's to be expected, as they face this new diagnosis and this journey.
Yeah, for sure, we need the primary doctor to be able to give more information about the disease, and also, yeah, recommend but the also the primary doctor need to do another training to have
Right.
more information, because it's not all their school, the school they did, it was not all about Alzheimer. Then they need also to, or dementia, and they need also more training about that to be able to give information to the families. I think there is many things going on right now trying to have this proper training for
Right.
primary doctors.
Has any of the feedback, like the story you shared with us, has any feedback you've received help in kind of the trajectory of Gleam in Your Eye and how you're running Gleam in Your Eye?
Yes, for sure. We have feedback about the games, the what they prefer, what they is it the more the art games they like, is it more the word games. It helps us to adapt it a little bit about the color, about the, yeah, we always ask what feedbacks from the customer to improve our product. Yes.
Now, you said there's 5 activities to engage the physical, emotional, the senses, to keep all those areas stimulated. What is there a favorite or one that seems to be received better than others, or is it just kind of a mixture?
It really depends. I feel the art, it's very popular.
Mhm.
It's maybe easier to engage with the art than other games that you need to more talk and engage. The art, it's just we know how to do to paint a birdhouse. It's just you have the painting. It's easier, but it really depends. There is like I know the father of one of my friend. He really likes the physical games. Um, it was his thing. Uh, it really depends.
What's an example of a physical game?
We put a curling game. We had a box about the Olympic Games, Winter Olympic Games, when there was the Olympic
Sure.
Games, and we put a mattress with the curling game. With the then you can have that. We put the toss game. We put a glass with you have to throw a ball and put down the glass,
Okay.
plastic cup. We have different one. We try to put activities and they can do on a table. We know sometimes they are not able to stand, or then we always try to do then we call it physical, but it's sometimes it's not so physical,
But
but
you're
it
moving. You're
engage the
moving. Yeah.
motor. Yeah, you
Yeah.
engage your motricity. But if I work with the a PT, he will tell me, "Oh, you need more." I work with the PT, and we gave one time also a page who was showing exercise to do on a chair, what you can do.
Wonderful.
Uh, it's different. Every box is different.
Sure. Um, so how did working with these individuals in your own family change your view of dementia from when your mom was first diagnosed to, where you're at today? How did your views change?
Uh, it's you learn the diagnose at the beginning. It's super sad. It's sad also for your loved one. Me, what was my biggest concern? It was to bring happiness in my mom's life and in people, and that it's still possible to have uh, positive experience with your loved one with Alzheimer. We have a lot of prevention for us. We have a lot of things about the care for the caregiver, but we don't have so much for the things for the person who has Alzheimer.
Right.
Then I want to take care of the person who has Alzheimer, for sure the caregiver around, but my biggest concern is it's the person who has Alzheimer, what we can help them through this journey, these difficult stages. And I learned that there is positive stuff in the caregiving experience. It's possible to have joy, even it's super sad. It's possible. It's what I learned. It's
Enjoy the
yes.
moment. Yeah.
Yes,
Enjoy
for
the
sure. Oh,
moment.
yes. When someone, I have a lot of person contacted me and say, "Oh my, I just learned my mom has Alzheimer," and they ask me what I should do, and I always say what you said: enjoy the moment, enjoy now, and it will progress. Enjoy every moment. It's the yeah, it's the best advice I can give.
Before you created your activity book and then ultimately Gleam in Your Eye, what was your profession?
I was a project manager for. I was with the company Bombardier. It's like Airbus for train and and plane and jet.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing that.
Have you considered in the future? Because I know a lot of people who have, gone on this journey caring for a spouse or a parent with dementia. They'll write a book about it, and they find it helpful. But you've created this amazing product. Have you ever considered writing a book about that time with your mom?
No, not now. I don't feel there is many on the market. Maybe I will. I'm working on more a guide to help in the caregiving
Wonderful.
experience
Yeah.
through the games, through activities. It's more my specialty, and what works best for my mother or customers, or this, it will be more the kind of books I will write. Uh, Still about the activities you can do and how to engage and connect with your grandfather. How you also, there is that with the grandchild that they don't know what to do with their
Right.
grandfather, and then yeah, do that. It will be fun, and it maybe it will be more what I will do.
Yeah. Did you ever imagine becoming an entrepreneur addressing these types of needs?
No,
Yeah.
no, for sure. I always wanted to be entrepreneur, for sure, but I didn't know what it would be. No.
Well, you're well on your way. You're well on your way now. So, what advice, if there's someone else out there listening or watching this and they're wanting to maybe do something to help their loved one, that maybe there's something out there that's not available that they think would be a benefit, and they are deciding on maybe becoming an entrepreneur themselves, what advice would you offer them? Because I can't imagine it was easy.
No, eh, if you have idea, if you have the resources available, go for it. For sure, I'm a risky person. I like then, but if you have idea, communicate your idea to some people you know they can do it for you. As the health professional are giving me so much idea, but they know they don't have time to do it. Then if you know someone, you can send me idea, you can write to me. But if you want to learn, yeah, I encourage everybody to start. If you have idea to help people with dementia, yes, do it. There is so much to do. I'm so happy to see new games, new. It's what I want. I
Right.
want as more as possible offers for people with dementia. Yes, and the passion will drive you. Will uh, I think when you are entrepreneur, if it's you do something from your art, you do something that really makes sense to you, it will change everything.
I agree with that 100%. So, what's the future vision for Gleam in Your Eye?
Oh, a lot of things. Like I said, I want to offer as much as possible games, different interests. Uh, the dream will be that we offer a lot of things with health professional can give advice also how to connect, how to communicate through activities, always to stay in the activities environment. But yeah, to be able to help families in their day to day. It's really our goal.
So, are you looking to then expand on what Gleam in Your Eye offers families?
Yes, I
Yeah.
hope. Yeah, for sure.
What about, do you see an app in the future?
Apple. Yeah, there is so many things we can
It's
do. It's
exciting.
just yes, but it's difficult. We are
Yeah.
only 2% right now working. I'm creating all the games. I develop everything. It's a lot. We need we need to yeah to see what we
No.
can do.
So, we had met you previously, you and Anne, and I just think it's a remarkable product, and I again want to echo, I agree 100% with what you said. Much like our show here, All Home Care Matters, we started this really in part, not exclusively, but in part due to the pandemic. We wanted to continue kind of what our company did in our communities here throughout southeastern Michigan, but it, as like with you from Canada, it's quickly become a global thing where we're helping families and having people on like yourself and sharing the resources like Gleam in Your Eye. What 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 do you do to help share the word and get the word out so families who may not listen to this podcast or watch the show on YouTube, how do they find out about Gleam in Your Eye?
This it's difficult. We are working with the PR agency who help us. The marketing, we are more active in nursing home, in the adult daycare. Um, they can we do different podcasts. They can find information on our website. But yeah, this it's yes, it's
Well, you're also, aren't, and correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you also partnered or a part of Hilarity for Charity too?
yes,
Yeah,
yes. Thank you for
yeah.
reminding me. I'm not the best in this part.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yes, I'm more the product person. Yes, yes, they are so lovely. Yeah, we partner with them. We are in their newsletters. Yeah, this it's very nice with the Alzheimer Association. We did also some activities with them, some podcasts, some in San Diego, and we do the walk for Alzheimer with them. And yeah, we try our best for people to learn about us, but it's not an
Wonderful.
easy, easy thing.
Well, and I know Gleam in Your Eyes on Instagram. Are you on any other social platforms?
Facebook
Facebook?
and LinkedIn also.
So, what we're going to do, Marie, is here at the conclusion of the interview, you were kind enough to send us a product video that we're going to start rolling here in a moment so that viewers and the listeners can hear it and the viewers can see it. But we're also going to put links to all of your websites and social media platforms and contact information in our show notes and on our website. And then, do you have any preferred way for people to reach out to you or to contact you?
Yeah, through email, info@gleaminyoureye.com or Mary at gleaminyoureye.com, and we respond right away. And or go in our website. There is a form you can also write, and we respond. We are 2% who are doing. You, we will make sure we answer to you.
Well, I applaud you guys and really just admire the wonderful work you're doing, and the reason for doing it, I think, is almost as important as the product itself. We need to, like I said earlier, we need to do more to help raise awareness and help those with dementia stay engaged, stay stimulated, but it also helps their family and their caregivers as well, because they need that engagement. They need to keep active, and they're still a person, and I think people need to view it through the person and not through the disease. And I just think it's remarkable, the wonderful work that you guys are doing at Gleam in Your Eye, and it's been a true pleasure to have you here with us on the show.
Thank you very, very much. The same to you, to be open to receive new entrepreneur, and to talk about innovation in this field. Yeah, it's
Well, when you have exciting news to share, you're welcome back on anytime. We're excited to see how you guys grow and the wonderful work that you're doing.
thank you very much. It's yes, it's really nice.
Oh,
Thank you.
it's our pleasure. You're welcome. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Like everyone, people with dementia deserve a positive environment and interactions in their day-to-day life. At Gleam in Your Eye, we've developed a subscription box of games for people with moderate dementia to keep them entertained and stimulated. Each month, the patient and the caregiver will share exciting moments while discovering the new games delivered to their home. The box includes 5 varieties of activities to stimulate senses, logic, language, art, and movement. All games are designed with health specialists to match the appropriate difficulty levels for people with dementia. We provide all of the materials and instructions in a clear and short format. Each game can be played alone or with another person, and at different levels of difficulty to ensure success and self-confidence. It's also a great way to spend quality time together. All of our games encourage social interaction and include ideas on furthering conversations. At Gleam in Your Eye, we are bringing joy to the lives of people with dementia and their loved ones.
Thank you for joining us today here at All Home Care Matters. All Home Care Matters is here to help families as they navigate these long-term care issues. We invite you to visit us at allhomecarematters.com, where there's a private, secure, fillable form where you can give us feedback, show ideas, or if you have questions. Every form is read and responded to. And remember, you can listen to the show on any of your favorite podcast streaming platforms or watch the show on our official YouTube channel. Just make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. We'd also like to thank Marie Vaudry again from Gleam in Your Eye for joining us today here at All Home Care Matters. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to you joining us again on another episode of All Home Care Matters. To learn more about the show and to connect with us, visit us at allhomecarematters.com.